weapons and set up on over at red base.
Stella, another name from the days of Splice. I hadn't seen him since leaving Splice, not really seen him much do, to be fair, and this is the first time I've seen him come back to Halo. I don't know quite how much practice he's actually had going into Halo Reach or how much he's played before this one.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. His shot is so ridiculously good. He's such a smart player. I mean, there's going to be some small nuances and differences, but someone like Stellar isn't magically going to go from world champion level play to a scrub.
Yeah, but the last time we cast them, Dave, and that was at the 2018 finals, Splice as it was, just didn't give a damn towards it, and they ended up bottling out in, what, 4th or 5th when they were one of the world's greatest teams, and they just didn't seem to be practicing or playing, and that event straight up kind of showed everybody how much practice you put into a game is what you get out of it.
Guess that's true. Guess that's true. Maybe they did reach a level of complacency. That's really difficult for me to dissect without having a chance to talk to them yet. But you know, whether that's the team dynamic or whether it's a bunch of individuals having all kind of faltered or not stepped it up. But we do see Pistola taking down Eco, bottom green, getting that clutch kill, and as you can see, neither of these teams really are caring about the scrappy time. They are more focused on just getting kills and holding red base.
So it's a little bit messy getting into this one. I do apologize for that. We had a lot going on. It's been a long day. But let's kind of get focused on where we are at now with this best of 5 series. It is Unlimited Gaming. This is going to be your number 4 seed going up against Chaotic. Your number 5 seed Unlimited. We have Eco, Trippy, Penguin, and Stella. 4 very unique individual names that really made a mark in Halo 5, especially towards the latter stage of it with teams like Splice as such, winning world championships. We've got a world champion on there in the form of Eco. We have Chaotic, Cyan, Renegade, Pistola, and Neptune. Now remember, Renegade is the former teammates of some of these on the opposing side from the members of Splice himself. So we will have a little bit of friendly ban here. We've got some young guns across both sides of the rosters, and this should be a pretty damn good game. Cyan, initially on your screen, points will be rocking up on their side. They'll be able to take control of this. Nade launcher in hand. Will fall back at least for now, but dipping down low on red base, we see one player been able to get the call and get the kill.
And normally I wouldn't have to make this distinction or correction, but that's not Saiyan from 2006. I know we just had a couple blasts in the past with Zyos and Karma coming up here, but this is the new Saiyan.
Oh, we've not seen anything since you kicked him in Halo 2. He's no reaction to them whatsoever. You ruined that man's career already, Dave. Same as Strong Side. Hell. Come on, Mike. He actually favored one of my tweets earlier. I'm like, oh, Mike's there. Hi, Mike, if you're watching in the stream. Anyway, back to Sniper side. Penguin will dip back for now. Dead Zone is Penguin as well. He has slightly changed his name. He does like to bob between a few here and there. I've seen Frozen or something else earlier on at some point. But regardless, Stella takes him down from the opposing side, who will hop on board with Eco's POV. Sniper, 1 bullet. Where's the face? Where do you want to go? Doesn't matter if it's the body or the face, as long as you get the kill, which he does. Teammate also there to support as well, top mid. For now, the time is ticking, and they're going to pull this back to at least 32 apiece.
I like this play from Eco, just pushing on over towards blue side a little bit. You don't want to overextend and force these sort of closet spawns. At the same time, too, you almost don't want to let the entire team get to spawn and make a push on their own time.
Time will keep on ticking. At least be able to force him back from behind. His teammates there to lock down the initial push, should it come through, and be able to back out if needed. Dead zone. Initial shots there, but the teammate will come in from the call out across the map just below where the hill will be moving up on the opposing side in just a few seconds' time. One player already here ready to receive, but there is pressure from Renegade on the opposing side, so at least sees him off the back of the side ramp. Fresh snipers up, take this fade away, get the hell out of there. All 4 players are still up, so you can try and make something happen here. Hill is moving now. There it is. For the next 2 minutes, it will sit in this location. There is players there, but it is your scrappy hill dead, as you spoke about in one of the previous rounds we casted.
Yep, scrappy hill time, but this time Neptune has a sniper over at blue base. They're a little bit more setup. It's not like off the break of the game where you kind of just assume those first 15-20 seconds nothing's really going to happen unless unless one team just steamrolls the other right off the bat. So we could see some time scrapped up here, but end of the day, I think Unlimited, they're going to more so focus on just getting blue base. They realize that this game is likely going to be won by the side bases.
Sniper, perfect position for that certain amount of time. Will move down through the side just to make sure we don't have any spawners in there. That is straight through the tiniest crack in the world, at least hits him. So gets the job done for now. Top mid is unfortunately a dead zone. Will go for the no-scope from the hill. Good Lord. From all the way at the back of the base, just swings across his face and takes him down. 1 minute remaining on that hill. Keeps an eye line to see if they want to try and poke up and get a few points. Keeping them back and keeping them at bay is critical. You've only got one bullet, but then again with the DMRs, been able to scope in and use them. We keep speaking about it time and time again. It's a precision weapon, and so is this man on your screen, Neptune. Back to back to back, triple headshots, job done. The bullets are gone, but the damage has been done.
Gotta say, those snipes are out of this world, huh, Sims? No, nothing. All right, I'll move on. Either way, yeah, they just lost over blue base, and that's gonna hurt them because, as we know, Hill's gonna be moving there in 23 seconds, and you see how Sane and crew are stuck over at red. Doesn't matter if they stay alive right now. In fact, it's okay if they either trade or die and get over to blue because this is where the game is going to be won. Reason being is that Topside Hill, you can't lock down all the areas of danger. There are too many angles to kill a team or player out of the Scrappy Hill. Whereas over at blue base or red base, you can get a full lockdown setup like Incognito has right this moment. You can expect this score to just go jacking up because they are down by about 20 points at the moment. Expect them to even this game out shortly.
Surprised he's challenging this snipe, to be honest. I mean, it's aggressive and it's worth it because they want to try and get that hill. If he'd have got that kill...
Broken setup. Did not expect that.
Talk to me about it.
I don't know what the crux of that setup and how that got busted so easily, but it was just an odd scenario because a team like Incognito, they have Sniper over at blue base. They had a full set. They had someone in the hill. And it just felt like they went 4 for nothing. Generally, in a case if someone gets a pick, they have to put themselves in such a vulnerable spot. In order to kill somebody over at blue side, somebody has to be all the way over toward top green. Either poke out that side gold, either come from bottom green or across the river. And in order to be in any of those spots, you're exposed in such a small area to multiple angles. And so it's very rare that you can poke out from one of those spots and not just get instantly melted.
It was good to see how much pressure was being put on the sniper guy. Holding that angle, his teammate was inside the hill. To force him back allowed them to push in, and then you just say they just managed to crack the egg and push it through. They shouldn't have done, but somehow they made it work. Still, the time is securely in the hands of the red team for now, but we do have plenty of time. This is a long game. 7 minutes 30 going to be remaining on the board. And all the time in the world to get the job done. But for scenarios like this where you're bopping around, ducking, diving, and weaving, you want to make sure that you get these kills rather quickly and then mop up the hill time or milk it for as much time as humanly possible. Because there are scenarios, Dave, and I don't know when those scenarios will be, and maybe you can kind of push into it more, where you don't actually even bother going for the hill because you have enough of a buffer. You just go offensive and stop the enemy going in, so you just go for slays.
Yeah, in a case like this, it's either not worth the risk just to sit in that hill for 2 seconds and put your team at a 3v4 disadvantage going into the next hill or timing. Or there's a time, like you said, you might as well just step for the next hill. Maybe you go up towards that top green and shoot people out of the blue hill, and you're ready for the next hill if you want to scrap up some early seconds. But you notice how these teams, they just set up so early towards the opposing bases. I mean, it's not moving towards red base for 2 minutes, and Neptune is already holding over towards red platform and red closet.
I still think it's completely underrated how much damage sniper presence has on this map. Like, if you're not, excuse me, even if you're not actually holding the sniper as such, you can just put it up into the top base and just apply pressure.
The threat,
just the threat in your presence alone denies people angles and denies people transfer it. Now, for instance, Trippy's gone down. He's going to be calling out where this sniper player is. Players will now be disallowing him an advantage, at least, or disallowing a point of contact, or forcibly removing sniper from that position.
Yeah, one thing I think that's underutilized, to credit what you're saying, Sims, with the sniper, is using the times where you snipe and then you just pull out the DMR and just do shots and damage in middle range. Because sniper is such an all or nothing weapon, where in a long range fight, yes, you almost always take that fight because you have a better chance. You can hit those long range shots. In mid range fights, sometimes it might be worth it, where after you get that first pick and people know where you're at, so you're going for like a nearly even fight, you can just bust out your DMR, get a couple shots, and keep the other team on their feet. They're like, all right, is that person out of sniper ammo? Do they still have it? I'm now trading damage in a fight where they were going for an all or nothing or expecting an all or nothing exchange.
3 down blue side. Last person alive, potential triple here, but Saiyan says no. Last man standing, doing his job, at least taking a few before he falls back down. The rest of his teammates will be allowed to spawn on the opposing side and mop up a little bit of time. Still a fragile lead, about 52 points there, if I'm not mistaken. Not good at math. Generally, you should be doing it on air as a caster. So many bodies top mid, so many faces to be found here. If he gets an angle with the sniper, he could be racking up the bodies there and make an aggressive stance on that hill. His teammates are still there. They are still collecting points. Goes for the no-scope. But instantly, Pistola says no. Nade comes through, shuts him down. Now he's looking for more, back of the base. Finds one below, but unfortunately doesn't catch the guy above him. Drops down, gets the kill, and now the weapons will transfer into the hands of Unlimited.
Yeah, and that was a nearly perfect storm of events that helped take Pistola out, where looking at the wrong direction at the wrong time, and very rarely does somebody slip past like that on Pistola. He has this, and all these other top pros have this methodology of checking this corner, knowing they can turn away from one spot and look to the next without somebody slipping in and getting within melee range like Trippy was able to.
Clean and sweep, I think that's probably the best way to preference that one, how teammates will just kind of walk together and they'll be able to check every single angle and every single corner rather than letting people slip away. And you mentioned Pistola, like with a game sense like him, but this kind of maybe speaks a little bit more of a bigger volume of this map, especially when you go into those bases of where the spawns actually can be if you keep them unchecked. For all he knew, that player might have literally just spawned around the corner as he came flying through, comes down and takes him out. Anything can potentially happen, and that's why it's so key and so important. Halo is a game of two sides to this. You have the individual weapon skill, you have the individual skill of the player. But teamwork and communication above all. I say this time and time again, and that's why I think Halo players do so well in other games, and Halo players go on to transfer into other games, because their map knowledge, their map sense, but more importantly, their team sense is beyond anything that can come out of any other console game yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. We don't. Halo also has to adapt on such a quick basis, whereas you think about many other round-based games where you can have that full-on reset. You have 30 seconds after you've gotten fragged, and you can evaluate what you're going to do off the break next time. Whereas Halo's just non-stop. You have to realize, one of my teammates was picked off behind me, and they have two opponents over at green. Do I charge? Do I back up? And you have to make so many quick, consistent decisions in this game, and that's how it's generally decided, along with execution of shots.
With round-based, there's a lot of methodology that goes with it and thought process. With respawn games, it can be very much kill, die, kill, die, kill, die, and just go to see who you hunt down first. But I still feel with Halo, with it still being a respawn, as you're straight off the respawn again, there's still a lot of thinking behind it. There's method to the madness. It's not just completely uncontrolled chaos on your screens. The players are doing certain things for certain reasons, and that's where, as we advance forward, we try and break that down as to why they are doing these things. Why are they pushing on certain spawn locations? Why are they holding certain points to deny those spawns? Why are they setting up for weapons, setting up for hills? And again, this is why it's so vital to be a good listener, to be able to listen to your IGL, do exactly what he says to do at the right time. Otherwise, honestly, you can completely bugger your team up just making a really wrong... We see it in flag all the time, like, don't push the flag or go for slayers. Someone will go for the flag, they're dead, and all of a sudden they're off the respawn, everyone else is getting slapped.
No, that's very true. And I think at some points you're correct when you say it's like a IGL making those calls. But as you'll find out through a lot of top teams, there might be somebody who stands out a little bit. For the most part, it's 4 strong individuals that know how to take the reins and make the correct call at the right times. Someone just has that little bit more of information, or everyone's so much on the same page that they realize what they're going to do.
Well, that's what Ryan spoke about in the previous round, right? Finding the perfect teammate, finding that person who can just slot into that position that you need them to do, and everyone's on the same wavelength. There's nothing worse than either a negative teammate or someone else is just doing what they want to do as an individual. They think it's right, it drags the rest of the roster down, and it basically throws everything you're trying to put together completely into the wind. There's no point in really even sugarcoating it. One negative person who wants to do their own thing can completely and utterly break everything you try and build. The players are standing still, and we all know why. There's 40 seconds left, and mathematically it is impossible. This will be an Unlimited win, and a well-deserved one at that. We'll take a look at the kills and the stats and everything else once this run down, but for the admins and legal side of it, we have to wait until the clock runs down. But still, nice way to get things going for Unlimited.
Yeah, I mean, at no point were they ever really in a very threatening position. I would say the closest to that would have been the first Blue Hill, where Incognito was down by about 20 points. They had a full set, and they just got cleared. They got wiped. It was like 0 for 4 or 1 for 4, and they lost what could have been the tying setup or the leading setup. So that kind of spells disaster for me when you try to break down that game. It felt like they were kind of getting beaten on all fronts. You saw Unlimited do stronger, better setups when they had control. You saw Unlimited break setups quicker than Incognito. And you saw during the scrappy time, I didn't see either team really thrive too strongly in there. I could have been wrong. I'd love to hear the exact stats on who got more time than the other during scrappy time, but it was not very noticeable from my perspective.
Neptune at the top. Big dog, 34 kills in the bag. Pretty decent. We saw some of the snipes as well. He was putting on a fantastic performance. You talk about individuals. I mean, he's one himself that can actually go off, but I'm just looking at some of the stats that Moses provided earlier on. So between when we look at major LAN events, wins, Eco, Stellar, and Renegade, 5, 4, 5 respectively. Add them all together, 14. But Stellar on his own is 20. Like, you talk about a man who's been there, done that, and has the individual capabilities to carry a team to a win. And it sounds hard, I'm not putting anyone else down on that roster, but like, how Ola is still doing it is completely beyond me. The man is just a genius. That's the only way I can describe him. He is a genius.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, if you get that many like wins, you're obviously doing a lot of things correct. You know how to slot into different rosters, teams. You know how to play, and yeah, Posol is someone who he's always been known for how good his shot is, how quick his decision making is when he's running away and evading opponents, just being that difficult kill.
Game 2, lock and load. Let's get it on the road. It's going to be Zealot Slayer. 211 points to 128 will go in the favor of red team. They pick up the win, and we do advance onwards. The question I have to ask, though, Dave, do we stand any better of a chance when moving to a Slayer match like that? We know Neptune were putting on a bit of a performance himself and already getting the first one to kick off this round. But generally, when we look towards objectives as such, can you read too much into it, or do you have to look at the bigger picture of the team itself?
I mean, in general, teams, you know, if they're good at one game type, they're going to be good at other, but Team Slayer is more volatile. You don't really have as much room for error in a Team Slayer if one team starts to go off and get ahead. It can go a bit more back and forth. Those players that maybe weren't as coordinated on Incognito pushing towards the hill or defending the hill, now they get to be a bit more selfish and say, I need to worry about my own life and go for individual kills or pushing out. So I do feel like this is going to be different. At the same time, though, Unlimited, they had a pretty strong showing. They broke setups on Incognito's side, so I don't see some of those major fundamental flaws from Incognito just being solved by moving to Team Slayer and Zealot. I do see it more highly likely that Incognito could take this game just on the fact that we are playing Team Slayer, but with that being said, it's still the same team they're playing against.
Look, generally around the stats, we kind of see these back and forth refrags and trade-offs, and we see a very even scoreline. For some reason, it's just kind of tendencies until about the 20 to 30 kill mark, and then things really ramp up. Is that a stick just before? Nope, it wasn't. Unfortunately, did miss it. Would have been pretty good. Pretty good fadeaway stick. So we'll kind of stick with all this one for now and see how things go. Nade launcher clearly not up yet. We'll be falling. It's every 2 minutes on the 10th, so that'll be coming up shortly. Down by Hollows, making sure no one's here. Actually, it's actually up now. There you go on the 10th itself. Looks across, not wasting a grenade in the back, so at least can clean up the very easy headshot. His teammate is there for the assistance. You will see him over the opposing side. Kevin, that's going to be Eco. Scopes in, taking a quick peek across the map. I'm seeing a grenade launcher kill. That should be a second one as well. So now they have numbers. Grenade launcher goes down. Beautiful double. Looking for some support. Jumps up, twists away. That's nice. Avoids the grenade. Now he can just bombard the basement and hope for the best. His teammates scoping in. You saw the sniper rifle there just looking straight across. Down the barrel hoping. And at the moment, it feels like red team, they're just pinned inside this base. Grenades, snipers. Hell, even the launcher itself, they are just being pincered. The pressure, and I suppose it speaks a bigger volume here, it's not actually affecting the scoreline because they're still getting the trades. There's no one in there to clean up. They're doing the damage, but the actual frags are not coming through and moving onto the board.
And it's starting to pull ahead a bit now, though. So even though they were looking at a couple trades in that last exchange over at Red Base, now seems that Unlimited were all spawning in a certain, all in one quadrant of the map. And so that allowed Incognito to get multiple angles, pin them down, get a couple more picks. But anytime they're getting those leads, it does seem like it's getting closed up immediately. So this game just too back and forth. And I think that is a little concerning for Incognito because it felt like they were in a stronghold position there just a moment ago.
It's off the street, you can just bank them off the ramps and it can be all kinds of problems. No shields once again, and it just comes all off of these grenades. They do so much damage in reach, and those streets are so open at times, even though they are a big area, being able to bank them off the back walls and just hit your opponents, it's so easy then just to follow through and follow up with the DMR shots, which is exactly what you're going to see on the screens there. Renegade trying to stay alive for now. We'll try and bank a few nades off over to the bridges and to top mid. Again, it's not Halo 5, so there's no hit markers. You don't know if those nades have actually connected. You have to use your own mindset and your own Halo player nuances, would you say? Just saw sniper rifle pop, I think. Yes, I did, because it's on the 10, so that will have dropped and transferred, I think, over to blue team. Stella with the repeak. Will he get the kill? No, he won't, because the assistance call out is there. And now it's Eco with a fresh snipe inside the window. Taking a quick peek across, and it's kind of the same scenario I find with this sniper, Dave, as you can.
The pistola crouch to avoid that headshot. Only he does that sort of stuff. But what I was going to say is Unlimited and Eco are now in a position where they have to step up or they're losing this game. They finally have something like sniper and a little bit of control and presence on the map. But if they get taken out anytime here soon, I see Incognito taking this game out, and oh my god, the Wizard Ola gets a double, does the damage on a third, who was Eco, and I see Incognito running away with game number 2.
What do we say, around 30 kill mark? Generally, things start to heat up a little bit. 5 more kills all they need, and we're actually going to a minimum of a game 4, 10 kill lead now. Deficit will start to become a mental factor on the side of the red team, so they have to be very, very careful here. Sniper. Couple more headshots and it's GG. Tommy goes down. Cyan will fall in front of it. There's still a few transfer and a few response kills there, but they are doing the refrags, so the trades are there kill for kill. And that's all you really need to do. If you're going to die, just make sure your friend's there to at least follow up. There's one. Where's number 2? It's there. GG. We at least get a game 4 out of this one, Dave. It's going to be a late one.
Yes, it is, but I'm also excited to see this series being brought back in this way. I mean, I was a little concerned. We saw Unlimited kind of running with game number 1. I mean, it wasn't, the score and deficit was a bit higher than what you'd expect based on teams giving up towards the end because it was mathematically impossible. So when you looked at the final score, it was a bit more skewed. But end of the day, I still felt like Unlimited was stuck. They were in control the entire time on Nexus, so I just expected that same sort of dominance to carry on over to Zealot, and that was not the case. What do you see from the stats, though, Sims?
Just having a quick peek at them and seeing if we can really translate. And it wasn't a massive slap.
Oh, Neptune.
Yeah, Neptune again is someone that we have to keep an eye on. We saw him towards the latter stages of Halo 5, making a bit of a stance for himself, and then with how some of the other stuff went forward, even with the Halo 3 stuff, we kind of saw him a little bit, a glimpse of hope, so to speak. But it's one of those things where even when you look at age as such and say, oh, well, they're a newer kid on the block, generally no, they're not, because even when they were super young, they were playing all these older games. So for all we know, this might be his first Reach event. But he may have had so many hours in Reach that just as a young gun,
it's the same,
yeah, it kind of transfers. Just it's not a LAN environment as such. You don't have that mental capacity from the players, but hell, it gets the job done. This is a map that he will know, regardless of, and I keep talking about it. We all know it. CTF on Sanctuary. The one thing that I love about this, dual snipers. We didn't really get it in Halo 5. We didn't get it all, and it's one thing that I've missed. A good old dual sniper map is a thing to just behold and enjoy.
And we got to see that in effect with like Boo Boo Doo and that sniping ridiculous spree he had there with the jetpack on Sanctuary last series.
So this is something I went and asked him, and I said, can I have a look at your pad? I spoke to Onset before this event. He is a bit of a Reach guru, and we're having a few conversations. The one thing that he told me was, keep an eye out for the jetpack usage, because now we have tools at our disposal that we didn't have before back in the day when Reach was out. So you have all these pads that you can claw with that now just use your fingertips. They've got paddles on the back.
Yeah.
You have all these extra little buttons that we never used to have that you can quite easily abuse that jetpack to its best ability.
Yeah, it's a totally different ballpark versus just like clawing it, and you know, even then it's not 100% perfect.
Well, that's not necessarily what they're doing. They're using the new jumper jump
pedals.
No, they're using jumper
jump and then like doing left bumper or right bumper.
No, it's a new setting. It's jumper. Oh. So it's like the double tap one. So you double tap it and they can just fly and do their own thing. So they're all practicing jumper, so they can grab these jets, and just abuse the living hell out of it. So the jetpack will become something that we now see more often, if depending on how many more Reach events, depending on how much Reach actually played. But certainly for this event, see the jetpack actually abused. I know it's an ability, and I know that some people just think there's no real use for it, or we just don't make use of it, so to speak, from back in the day. But now, with the settings, or at least the controller settings and the controllers, if you get a sniper on this, Boo Boo Doobie or previous series showed exactly what you can do with it.
Yeah, I was completely unaware of like how that could even be used to even more of an advantage. Like these players, I just assumed it was like, oh, everyone's just getting better skill-wise, and you know, just mapping things in a different way with the news, the pre-release. But that makes way more sense. It's just that whole new overloaded function of that button.
Initial flag them. We're going to get one straight off the bat, all being well. However, anything can happen. A couple of grenades and he is down. No shields whatsoever. Goes for the desperation play. Does get it in. Not quite the survival that we needed, but it doesn't matter whatsoever because the job is done. Unlimited will put an initial flag on the board, but that's a lot of players dead and also picking up their health pack. The question is it a little bit too late to run this? Should you have gone for the initial? No?
This is still fine to run it. You can run it part of the way over towards Ola, get towards your rocks. You're going to have to stop once you get back to your side and get some slays in, or make sure you're heading slays. But it's still the correct idea to run that flag.
It's gone a little bit wrong. Trippy has completely shut that one down. That was a double. Where he came from, I have no idea, but he sprinted, just absolutely belted it. Through the shotgun tunnel, got the job done. One player will fall just outside the Bond. Sniper, not much. I say not much after the full round there. It doesn't matter what much when you can actually hit the head. Up to ring 3 we probably will go. There we have it. Overwatch comes into effect. Now you can look for the spawners around the back flag. Got to be careful of those rocks. There's a few more than some of the iterations of Sank before, and they give a lot of cover. You can use this to your maximum capabilities of either making an advancement up to the car side, or maybe even just using it to run the flag. It's possible. Over his head he goes with a jetpack. Down he will fall. Still on board with Renegade, still doing damage. Power weapon in the pocket, no bullets remaining. Teammates are behind him, behind his enemy lines. Can't really make much of an advancement just yet. You go forward, unfortunately, you will be dying. Rocks are there. The panic rocket.
Oh, that one got a random deflection from a grenade and got the kill, I believe. I could have been incorrect about that, but I believe
it did just disappear.
The rocket got deflected.
Yeah. Huh. So that could have been a bit of a waste. Well, not even a waste, it's not even a waste, it's just unlucky. Nade down for the triple, doesn't quite find it. But if he will be running Bond, he'll at least be able to tag up now. Seeing the player, that's a really nice angle. Stella's there. Look for one of his teammates to pick that up. There is someone inside the base, but he is challenging questionably, unless he knew the second player was going to run through. Dead Zone shuts that one down, though. Renegade back off the respawn, will be coming forward. Looks towards the rock side again. Tommy's up there in the corner, at least giving the support he needed, but he doesn't need it whatsoever. Jetpack onto the little crevice here and just hiding for now while the shields do return. Spots Stella, straight snap into his head to get some damage onto him if he wants to continue the push and the assault. They will do. Weapons, be ready for them. They'll be dropping sometime soon. And then you may see a hell of a lot of damage done because we're waiting on the enemy sniper. They're on the opposing side of the base, but misses 2 shots. Now we can pull forward. If they get dual snipe here, this is bad news bears if you're on the side of the red team, but you are in the lead, so there is a small bit of saving grace there.
Yep, and this is looking really strong for Incognito in this position, but what's most important is that his teammate stays alive there, and I believe that was Saiyan who got picked off. No, it was Neptune who was over on the flag. That's the most important person to stay alive, the one who's furthest up and a threat to actually pulling the objective. I believe Clutch covered that earlier in the previous series where he just said, you know what, it doesn't matter, a few of them went down, but they got the person who's closest to the flag. That stops the run entirely.
There's a lot to be said for just certain desperation players at the right time. You know, either dying just to throw the flag and advance it a little bit so that you can get it across your 50-yard line and hide it. Or even it's a matter of just stopping it in the track so your teammates can respawn and then just bomb it towards it and put a hole in the tracks. Still, this side of the base, some rocks looking for anybody who wants to try and run on the P Street. Bon is lit, quite literally. There is one player just up on that crevice again. Eco down, not quite out just yet. A lot of people, so much focus is going on to taking him down that it slowed them. That staying alive like that and just playing Ring Around the Roses off the back of the pillar single-handedly stopped the flag because now they can't do too much. They're coming off the respawn. If they can desperate this and get it at least through the mid, then there may be something to do here. Will you jump it through window or will you just continue the run?
And just gets destroyed by a couple of grenades in that scenario. It looks like Olo's going to try and go for that touch, and a random desperation touch is not going to land there. And that's going to be 3 down for a moment for Incognito and Unlimited on the offensive.
You mentioned Ola. You could see from the player's POV where I didn't quite catch his name. He actually naded Ola. He didn't hit him, but he had no idea he was there. Oh, that's a triple. Where's the over? It's up inside. Can he? Oh, Tommy, you lucky boy. Almost hit him in the face with the rockets and then gets punished for it.
Incredible, but I think the damage has been done. That triple got enough players down. They were able to take control of the map, get some control, but I guess never mind. I'm a little surprised that they didn't get a little bit further up. It feels like they're still able to somehow trade kills and get control on their half. So I take back what I was about to say as for the amount of control they can get from that triple, or the potential counter or secondary flag attempt that they were going to try to follow up with.
Well, this is good. You push him with the rockets, you got the initial kill. You're now a point of contact for the enemy team should they want to drop down on you in the assault, but the problem is this sniper guy who can sit back here and clean up what the rocket guy doesn't. He can defend him. So if the rocket guy gets the entry, gets the kill, gets the flag moving, now he's able to completely lock this down himself. No one's going to be spawning rocks. And again, we spoke about the defensive side, and it's happening. They're playing 2 players. This is fantastic. One runs the flag, the other one just snipes away. Teammates come off the respawn. This could be potentially a perfect pull if he doesn't fumble it through this tunnel. And provided someone's there to support and stop any assault from the opposing rocks, in theory this should go in. Has Dead Zone and Trippy completely ruined this for them?
I can't believe that they would somehow be able to stop this flag cap with it being so far along the way.
There's no way they did not get this in.
They did, and it looks like it's going to turn into a counter cap here in a moment for Unlimited. I just thought with Pistola being that far along, with 3 people being alive on their part of the map, on Incognito's half of the map, how are they going to get stopped? But I cannot really comprehend how that happened. I'd have to see what transpired and what other players got picked.
That's a sick shot across the map. I don't know how that didn't go in. That should have been a cap, and they've left some kind of gap open for them to be able to do. Ola says, no, not today. Don't shoot me. Up onto S3 we go. Still looking for a flag themselves over on the side of Chaotic. Grenades down. Tags the body. Not a problem whatsoever. Will fall, and that's fine. Get yourself out of harm's way for now and get your shields back. Checks the runway. No one there for now. Look towards the huts once we've done this, which he is doing indeed. Didn't quite see one player. Must have been down in
such a smart route. Such a smart route there by Ola to drop down off the bridge and go through bottom center on the other team's side. It usually seems like such an exposed area, but in that one instance where he's getting shot from the courtyard, it was his only route because obviously he was getting drilled over on the bridge before.
Flag dropped.
Double kill off the back of Vola, actually given the time that they need to be able to run this one. So nice back-to-back headshots. Now we're all drawn up. This is good work. The last flag, it kind of needs to go in, to be fair, because they would have been gutted not been able to put that one in the net. Rockets, it's fragile, there's no shield, so get the trade, that's fine. Still 3 in the barrel though, we'll claim them, we'll get the reload and we go again. For Unlimited, this is the time to apply a little bit of pressure and get a little bit of revenge. Initial one is there. Get the reload, use the 2, and then you can at least make something work here. Maybe you make an advancement, maybe you take it into the base, maybe you slap them, or you wait here to receive the flag from your teammates. There are options on the table, Dave.
Yeah, I like the idea of moving rockets over towards the snipe hut. The 2 ideal scenarios is 1, you're sitting in ring 2 and people are just jumping up to you, and you get those free easy kills that should be easy to land as long as you're up in ring 2. The other second scenario is when you're over in their hut and you just get to have someone below you in shotgun, or you get to have somebody close range area like that where they cannot really threaten you until they get close.
Double kill.
Frags and tags either side. Nades up, looking for targets. No one in ring at the moment. He can kind of defend this one himself. Hold the 50-yard line and wait for the initial contact, to be fair, from the opposing red team. If they do this, maybe get a frag or two, and then they can advance forward. Tries to use the blocks for some cover and survive, but it doesn't work. And now red team, they will collapse. They will move forward. You see the trail of the bullet. He knows where the sniper is. He knows this is an important kill. Renegade down. There's the second as well. This is nice. Where are your teammates, though? Can you move forward? Eco's downstairs, but they've also lost two, so there has been a response here. They need to be careful. Just whiffs. 2 shots. A bit of a waste there. It was fragile, but that one wasn't. That was quick. You're dead. See you later. All is gone for now, and they will keep up the pressure. They will keep up the assault, and the rest of the teammates are following. But the headshot response is there. This is just brutal. These snipers, they're controlling the game for both sides of each team.
I was going to say, until Renegade hit that shot there, it was still very possible for Eco and Stellar to hold that portion of the map. Snipe Hut is such a strong area to hold because they have to cross open, exposed areas to challenge Snipe Hut. They have to go over on top of turret or below turret side, where players on the Unlimited side can help just drill all the way from ring or even all the way from opposing rocks.
Renegade up through the window and into ring 2, where he will find a timely death, looking towards the rocks, and you can see the communication's already there by checking and trying to give your teammates support. Knows one player's lingering. Carside will unfortunately find his grave for now. Nades come through, and there is something to be said for sometimes not nading the areas so you don't actually give away your position. Just throwing grenades and actually throwing them at the right time is vital rather than just lobbing them in. Then you have some kind of idea of where these players will be making an aggressive advancement from. Same scenario happened there. However, Stellar is in enemy territory. Needs to be careful here. It's a good place to hold. If he can just lock this down and stay alive while his teammates come alive and get across this side, there might be an advancement and a chance of a pull. Sniper rifle of the enemy team is in his hands. Theirs will be up as well. Instantly shut down from the opposing side of the map, and rockets are also in play.
They're going to be pushing on up here, using this advantage, but if Sane gets picked off here, I was going to say this would be dead in the water as far as this flag, but as long as Sane's alive over on the side, they have a slight chance, but they're not as strong a position compared to the previous time where you saw them taking over Snipe Hut. Look at the difference here. Sane being over in rocks, nearly a bit more exposed.
Ned's down, teammates with him. Shouldn't be a problem here for that one player in the corner. You can see the assist medal coming through, and this is an easy cakewalk. But we said this one before and everything went wrong. Neptune. Make sure you are watching the opposing side in the opposing rock push. This is kind of what threw you guys off balance previously. And this might be a clean run. If no one's there, if they've denied all entry points, that's it. It's job done. 2-1. So now all of a sudden, Chaotic, they take the lead for the first time in this game. Unlimited were up 1-0. But the pressure, it's been handed off.
At this point, it's just get slays. Neptune and the Chaotic squad, they don't have to push on over towards Unlimited base at this moment if they don't want to. If they have an opportunity that presents itself, absolutely do it, but they no longer have to do any sort of desperation runs. When in doubt, they're just going to slay because Unlimited are the ones that have to put pressure on and get the next cap.
Uh-oh, panic station, Strip is in trouble. There's several people with an eye on him. Oh my god, just absolutely clips him in the face and it's job done. They can run this. They're taking it P Street. It's a bit of an obscure maneuver.
It's a good run, but if they get overzealous and try to push too hard for this flag, they could in fact set themselves up for some form of a counter cap.
They don't have to do it though. Killing Frenzy, Neptune is feeling it.
I approve of that spot.
What position is he in there, Dave?
It's a great spot to hide, let me tell you.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I was, you actually beat me to it, taking my own jokes off me, so thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Will not make an advancement off it. Unfortunately, I think he's finally died, so they put him in the grave for now, but are coming back off the respawn with a man with a plan. Sniper in hand here. Looking, Pistola, defensive side. They know someone in the tunnel. I don't see a kill coming through just yet, unless that was it on Trippy. Dead Zone at least takes him out for now. Sniper rifle out of their hands for a few seconds. The Rocks has to be careful. Moves across and transitions to his side. Undercar looking through. Off of the respawn, some of these players will be going, and they instantly might be met back with a respawn again. straight through the barn, straight onto their Walsh.
Yep. They have 20 seconds to get this pull, and looks like Eco is the only one in position, and no longer going to be the case. We're going to see if there can be a little slip through here, which I like this play. I mean, you have no other option. But end of the day, it's going to be a really tall feat in order to somehow get a kill, stay alive long enough to get this pull. But 2 seconds for getting the pull, and it's not going to happen. That's going to be game number 3, going to Chaotic.
Game over.
GG. Okay, so they were down first in the series. They've taken the last 2 maps back to back. Question is, look at those faces. You're not down and out, boys. There's still a chance, but certainly mentality-wise,
diminishing or dwindling.
I know it's getting late. I understand. You know, we've all been there, boys. It's fine. We've got to keep going through. Let's take a look at some of these stats on the KDs. Although when it comes to this kind of objective maneuver, I don't want to drive too much into it. But Neptune is absolutely feeling this. Look at that again. He's at the top fragger for 3 times in a row now.
Sounds about right. Yeah. Is it all 3 games across the board too? Across both teams? Or is that obviously on his team?
I think so. I think, yeah. I'm trying to think of game 1 now to make sure I'm not right. But either way, like, he's putting on a sterling performance, so fair play to the lad. For a game that necessarily we wouldn't correlate his name with, you know, and someone who we said kind of came up towards the latter stages of Halo 5. It's not exactly what we expected, but he is a damn good individual player. When you're looking on social media and stuff, he interacts with a lot of the guys on there, and, you know, generally speaking, it sounds awful to say this, but when you see the top kind of stays with the top, and the main players always seem to play together, because if you want to be the best, you have to play against the best, right? And Neptune, again, is one of those names that I see on social media revolving within those circles. There's always your general group of people that are always tweeting and talking amongst one another, always scrimming against one another. He's one of those names that kind of throws into that pit when you look towards Ace, when you look towards all the guys, you know, Lethal, Snakebite, and all that lot. So it's been nice to see him on the come up. King of the Hill, Battle Canyon, Battle Creek, whatever you want to call it, Dave.
Beaver Creek.
Beaver
I'll go
Creek.
That one, yeah.
You can
4 different iterations I think we have now as far as different names.
And this one has a big old arch in the way. Let's really talk about Red Side and how critical and how important it is. You have that arch on your side. It gives you so much more cover. Locking down red base when the red hill is up, it's absolutely vital, because it kind of reminds you, this is like your old Halo 2 lockdown styles of a setup. You can take red base. There's dual snipe on this, which gives an advantage and ability to break it up. But when bases move to the hills, you can actually completely lock them down.
You can get those lockdowns, but just to reiterate your point on how strong red base is, the arch is just an undeniable advantage. You have this this height advantage on the opposing snipe hut, on the opposing base, and it really cannot be countered, except for the opposing snipe hut, which I would still argue the arch has the advantage on that. So it's one of those times where, as long as you are on the arch and you're stopping anyone getting up on the opposing side arch, or sorry, the opposing snipe, you're just not really going to be countered unless someone pulls off an amazing flank or tricky area, like they somehow sneak through the creek. But you should have you should have your whole team watching that area. You should have that backup in that spot.
The rocks can be always a situational weapon if you do manage to pick them up. They're a power weapon in themselves, but being able to break those setups, it's actually key and crucial. I love the position and the thought process of placing them in the creek bottom mid, because it is a bit of it's a kill box, right? You go bottom mid, everyone can see, you're completely exposed from multiple angles, and when the grenades hit you, they absolutely tear you apart. So to be able to get those rockets, you either need a clean pull, and when I say clean pull, people need to be dead. Make an advancement on them, completely fade away, and keep control. If not, you're going to be scrappy. You're going to be pulling them. You're going to be, unfortunately, dying. One of your teammates might be able to pick them up. It's not a game of Slayer, so it's not necessarily that important. But while you're dying and while you don't have control of those circles, you are losing points. The creek, bottom mid, it's a scrappy one. You will see it transferring back and forth. A team shouldn't be getting tons and tons of time in that bottom mid area. If not, in my opinion, you're doing something wrong. You've either been outslayed or outplayed. Circle moves over to the opposing side, jumping up over the needles. Sniper, Renegade, show us what you got, buddy. What's in the tank? Let's set this one up.
surprised he's not jumping in scrap up in time. Seems like his teammates have enough eyes across the map and enough control that I would expect for him to at least start that up. But instead, looks like he's going to opt to go on the offensive. And I guess you can't fully blame that when someone has sniper. You can almost never be too careful when it comes to those power weapons. You almost don't want to get too greedy to go in the hill, but I think sometimes I'm overly critical, having been so objective-minded in some of my past roles that I would actually argue that I probably made more mistakes than correct plays when I had power weapons and would go in the hill at times when I should not have.
So this right here, Dave, is proving the power of Red, because he's been up there with sniper. He's got several tags, several frags. They've got the fresh sniper from the opposing side as well. He wasted the bullet, picked up the fresh rockets, and now they're just complete. Look at how much time they've got for this one single hill alone. That is not only the power of Red, but the power of the base as well, because you can keep them at arm's length. Nobody's going to take a teleport. No one's going to go across the map, because if you do, you'll always have someone on top of the base ready to receive that one player. It's exceptionally hard to make an advance on a base unless you have the rockets. They are a key. Get stuck in, break the setup, try and make something happen. But again, there's going to be so many players here in such a small area, you always have to expect to be retraded on and refragged.
Yep, you always have to expect that. One thing that's actually really surprising for me right now, though, for this chaotic roster is how careful they are. They had 3 or 4 members still alive, and they were still hesitant to get in the hill because they just want to make sure they do not lose, give up too many deaths and give up the rest of this time in this hill, or give up full control.
Should get some damage off those grenades, but he might not necessarily get the kill. That's going to be a really nice rocket, taking him from that position.
Yep, the most powerful position.
Yeah, that's a beautiful little rocket. That removes sniper from as well. I'm pretty sure that he had a hold of it. To spend a bit of time now. Hill transfers. We go down to the bottom mid. There's one, there's two. Looking for a third. He is getting chased down now. Takes the sniper down low. More importantly, stays alive. So they've at least kept a power weapon inside their hands. Finds the guy up top. His teammate's there to at least secure it. Doesn't go for the fadeaway sniper. Instead goes for the survivability play. I'm fine with this. When you have the lead in time, and when you have so many bullets, you can be a nuisance. You can be a point of interest to the opposing team. There, look, you're seeing the bullets still coming through the doorway. That's because they're scared of him, so they're pre-firing. They're staying focused, which allows the rest of his teammates to capitalize on those moments, seize those individual players, and now they're actually, by doing this, by just being a nuisance, by playing around the map, they're getting time bottom mid. This shouldn't be happening. This should be a scrappy hill, but they're holding it.
Yep, there's nothing more frustrating than when you get somebody to one shot or weak and they just won't challenge you. Or they do the opposite. You turn away and they come right back out and challenge immediately. It's this little game of cat and mouse or rock, paper, scissors, decide what each player is going to do. And the person who's the one that peak shot like that is in full control. You saw how Renegade, there's going to be times where he's going to just run away completely. And you said, that player's wasting time. That player's literally doing nothing while Renegade is just running around and repositioning. And there's going to be other times too where that player looks away immediately. And it's going to be so frustrating when they got shot in the back right away again because of his ability to dictate the pace of the fight because of his positioning.
I love how these two players kind of worked in tandem with one another, say, and used the tree and got on top of the base to try and drill the guy from up on archway, and it did take him down. While two of his teammates teleported and got to the opposing side of the map, they then just started the assault. And that's where they've stayed. They've got the kills, and now they have map control. They have 2 on either side of this one. Nobody's going bottom mid because they know they have all these angles covered. Rockets are up, Hills move, they're in a good position. There's the tag, gets the initial snipe on the headshot. Grenades are down to try and find the follow. It's not there, but the damage has been done. He can continue this one through. His teammate has not only just run across the map and regroup with him, he's picked up the power weapons while doing so as well. This is looking good right now for blue team. The question is, where are the enemy players? Need to use teamwork here and make sure you have map control. Do not lose these weapons, because if you die individually, they take them from you. You're then giving them free hill time.
Yep. And I was going to say, it's going to be such a difficult situation to push out of the base unless you just decide to run out to the creek and get a ram no-scope like Neptune does. I do like that repositioning by Neptune. There's really no need to have 2 players inside the base, so I like that repositioning. But it's also a bit surprising how frequently they're keeping players inside here. I've never seen teams have players inside the base as much as I've seen from Chaotic here in this game.
I don't think they had the information, Dave. I literally just don't think they had the info to where all these guys were, and they're a little bit too passive on them. They had the weapons, they had the sniper, they had rockets, and they generally didn't do too much. It's now transferred into the hands of blue. Finally, by keeping, keeping themselves reserved. They have pulled through this and they have control of it. But look at how much time Red Team ranked up. It was a good 20 seconds, I believe. Don't quote me on that one. I apologize if I'm wrong. But by being passive, they have kept control of the hill, but the opposing team has managed to catch up. So whether it was preemptive, whether it was too slow, I don't know. Take from it what you will. Still got a rocket. They've hit the 100-point club. I suppose
end of the day, they stopped, like you said, they stopped Unlimited from getting a ton of time on that hill. They ended up scrapping up way more now that they've gotten control. It's just that, you know, everlasting threat inside the base. No, there's nothing you can do. What do you run inside the base and just give the rocket player a free kill? Or do you just stay there in fear the entire time, knowing that they can poke out at any moment and rocket you? It's a lose-lose situation.
I suppose in the end, when you think about it, the rocket player was actually the last one standing, and he ended up getting inside the hill. So staying alive rather than just going out and getting a kill and traded on, was the better decision. So, okay, we'll go with that. Giving up so much hill time, the end reward is that you do stay alive and you do see it through. Bottom mid, though, again, plenty of time coming off the back of this one. Catching up slowly but surely. Sniper on the top of red, and this time red team has a hold of it. 1-2, thank you. Finds the other player on the dark side of blue. Misses the headshot, unfortunately. 2 up on archery. I don't think you need that many players committed up to this area. Finds someone else to give a different angle. Sees his foot and his leg just in the doorway of blue. There should be a call out coming through very shortly from under the cave side in the creek. There's one. That should be the second on Ola. Yes, it is indeed, but there is a nade there, unfortunately, and that's all 4 dead.
And they need to jump in that hill immediately. I'm surprised that Renegade didn't go in, but no surprise now seeing what kind of weapons he has in his hands. And once again, Renegade finds himself inside the base where the hill's going to move to next, but picked off immediately. Dead Zone, aka Penguin, just jumping in there and taking both those power weapons out of his hands. That is going to play a huge effect later in the game, as you no longer have Renegade just being this massive nuisance inside the base.
It's a bit unorthodox to see fights going in the back of the base. Like, we don't, it's not flagged, there's no real reason to be in there. Oh, he didn't have the DMR to switch to, oh well, no scope works fine, whatever, you know. As long as he's dead, who cares? Goes for the double no scope. Now this is the problem, because he's got no weapon to turn to. Once that bullet's gone, he needs to get the kill or he's dead. And unfortunately, the grave will be the altar side of the coin.
Unlimited did some damage there in this center hill, though. That normally scrappy hill, they made up, I want to say, 20-ish points, 20 to 30 points, which is a massive difference. I mean, in most cases, in order to get 20 or 30 points in Bomb Center Hill, you have to be outslaying so super heavily, or you end up giving so much map control that you get punished for it in the following hill. And I don't think that was the reason why Unlimited lost this this initial start over towards the blue hill, or sorry, the red hill. But you know, in the end, that's exactly what happened.
Really good kills from up there inside the sniper. Been able to drop down, get one, and at least tag up the second player that's moving in for the hill. Gives his hill guy a little bit of freedom to take the fight and keep control. They are now pushing outside through the teleporters with the 2 players there. Cyan should be able to clean up both of these, which he does. Now looking for the preemptive grenade, lands on it, does not make an advancement, dives straight in. He knows it's dire straits. Now he needs to keep up the time ticking. I like this more. It's a bit more of an aggressive stance, Dave.
Yeah, I like it because it's going to be a situation where Saiyan either decides to go inside the base and hide and stay alive and wait for teammates, or he decides he can put himself in a 1v1 fight while racking up time. The fact that he killed 2 players there and was not immediately contested kind of let him know, just by deduction, that no players were nearby and that he should be able to scrap him some time and, like I said, fight a 1v1 if it came his way.
It's not over yet. It's not over yet. Still time to get this job done for either of these teams. Red team, obviously, were in a little bit of an advantage there. It was on the red side. They keep control, but all of a sudden Neptune turns up and says, well, you know what? I'm just going to kill you all. It's not a problem whatsoever. Dead zone included as well. Ticks him off the box. He continues with the hill time. Unfortunately, no shields, no health, no go any further. He's dead and he's down, back in the respawn screen, but we'll move on board with his teammates. Ola, fresh rockets, now looking to do some damage here. He can control this one. He can lock down the backside, but there's only about 3 seconds left of that hill. They're running through it. Probably not the best trick in the book when the hill's going to be moving to bottom mid at the same time.
Not ideal, especially with this last scrappy hill, we did see Unlimited make a run on this one last time, but you know, there's a big difference between racking up 30 or so points versus being down by the 52-point deficit we see here for Unlimited going into this final 2.5 minutes.
And all they either have to do is get a few more seconds to make it mathematically impossible and run the clock down, or just kill them. Just put them straight on Slayers. Even if it's just breaking setups every time, let them have a few setups, but by killing them over and over again, you put a spanner in the works and they can't really advance forward on the clock. Keep the points off the board, and this is just a time-based game. Snipe on the back of the base, looking for any tellies. There's one. He's going to hit from multiple angles. Oh my lordy, lordy, lordy. The assist there at least. And still gets the kill. One more bullet. Where's it at? Find him. Find it. Find it. There it is. He gets it. He gets traded on, but I think this one, Dave, unless it was a miracle to happen, this should be a chaotic win.
Well, I mean, at some point they could fully lock down. You could see Unlimited lock down the majority of the final hill, but they need to give themselves a little room for error. They need to scrap up some time here in the bomb center hill, maybe get to around 45 seconds-ish of a point deficit, and then they could feasibly close out if they, you know, execute perfectly at the end of the game. You're asking a lot of ands. You're asking this first has to happen, then this has to happen, then this has to happen. So it's not looking great, but it is still possible.
I suppose for them it's, one, how much time can you get in this bottom mid scrappy hill? Two, how much can you lock down on the next move? They need to be moving now with how little seconds are left here. They need to be set up, ready, willing, able, and in the hill already when it goes forward, which they are. Look at the arrow on your screen. That means that they were standing ready to receive it. Who's there to do the damage? I'm seeing bodies dropping all over the place. Deadzo around the corner. Pistola says no. Cyan's there as well. They're going to shut this one down and stop any advancement. This is a really, really good read from Cyan to be able to get on top of the base and stop them. Stop the bleeding. Cut off the head of the snake. That's going to be job done. That's going to be GG.
Well-fought game, though. I mean, similar to the first King of the Hill, it pretty much came down to the last couple hills where the other team at least had a chance to come back, but then, you know, it was a bit too much. As we saw Unlimited taking first King of the Hill on Nexus, and then Incognito answering to close out this series 3-1.
It's a good read for them to go aggressive at the end there, rather than say, you know, okay, let's just sit in the hill. We know how many seconds they need. Let's stop this here and now. Jump on top of the base, wait for them, bait them into the hill. That's what he may have been doing. We said he got it straight away. It's okay being set up for it, but for all we know, they actually might have been sat on top of that base waiting for them to make the advancement. As soon as they do, they get the kills, and more importantly, they take the series. So, Kerok, Cyan, Renegade, Pistola, and Neptune losing the first one off the back and then taking 3 straight in a row. You got to feel good about that.
Feeling strong, and we got to see what Neptune got as far as kills. Is it the most again? No, this time Renegade running away with it by far. 36 and 13. So many times in the base with those rockets and snipe.
This series, sorry to...
He got most hill time.